Curtains were down as the much anticipated and talked about meeting between leaders of the two world's most powerful economies concluded in the South Korean port city of Busan. A meeting described as amazing by US President Donald Trump with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping saw major issues that created ripples across the global economy settled at the table. Reaffirming his good relations with friend Xi, Trump touted the Chinese president as a great leader of a great country. This comes a day after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis cancelled H-1B visa in state universities, affecting several Chinese students. President Xi began by expressing his happiness to meet Trump after a long time, but without any theatrics, talked about the recent US-China trade war, with both countries imposing tariffs and stalling import of several goods.
Given the different national conditions in China and the US, it cannot be avoided that we do not always see eye to eye with each other, and it is normal for the two leading economies of the world to have frictions now and then. And in the face of winds, waves and challenges, me and President Trump at the helm of China-US relations should stay the right course and ensure the steady sailing forward of the giant ship of China-US relations.
The 1 hour 40 minutes meeting between the two leaders was attended by aides within the close circle of both the leaders.
We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture.
The meeting also brought an end to the long-stalled US soybean exports into the Chinese markets. A huge relief to the US farmers who voted for Trump during the presidential campaign, as a post on Truth Social announced the immediate purchase of soybeans by China.
The Chinese have agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans during this season, right now, between now and the should be January, and then for the next 3 years, they're going to be buying a minimum of 25 million metric tons per annum for the next 3 years.
Fentanyl, another bone of contention in the trade, saw 10% tariffs being slashed from 20%.
Many other things like that. On fentanyl, we agreed that he was going to work very hard to stop the flow. I've agreed, as you know, I put a 20% tariff on China because of the fentanyl coming in, which is it's a big tariff. And based on his statements today, I reduced it by 10%, so it's 10% instead of 20%, effective immediately. I believe he's going to work very hard to stop the death that's coming in.
The other major trade barrier that prompted China to impose tariffs on export control was to settle the dispute over rare earth mineral. Trump said China agreed to keep the rare earth flowing to the world as a part of one-year agreement.
Negotiated at the end of a year, but all of the rare earth has been settled, and that's for the world. I mean, you know, worldwide. This, I guess you could really say this was a worldwide situation, not just a U.S. situation. So we continue to produce the rare earths and buy the rare earths and everything else, you know, when you see from other countries. But China is, that whole situation, that roadblock is gone now. There's no roadblock at all.
The US president also discussed the Russia-Ukraine war, but did not bring up China's purchase of Russian oil. The US has imposed additional tariffs on India and accused it of fueling the Russian war machine by purchasing oil from Moscow. The Trump's top aides have time and again talked about China's close proximity to Russia and being one of the biggest purchasers of Russian oil and energy. Washington never imposed additional tariffs on Beijing for this. But both the leaders did share concern over the Russia-Ukraine war, and Chinese president agreed to work in tandem with President Trump on the issue.
Ukraine came up very strongly. We talked about it for a long time, and we're both going to work together to see if we can get something done. we agree the sides are, locked in and fighting, and sometimes you have to let them fight, I guess. Crazy. But he's going to help us, and we're going to work together on Ukraine. There's not a lot more we can do. The oil, he's been buying oil from Russia for a long time. It takes care of a big part of China. And, I can say India's been very good on that front. But we didn't really discuss the oil. We discussed working together to see if we could get that war finished.
Handshakes, whispers and smiles, symbolic gestures projecting that both leaders played a polite and diplomatic game on world stage, though being two tough competing world economies. Trump's recognition of China in the G2 gives it an upper hand and pushes it further to pursue its goal to achieve the numero uno status in the world. This is perceived as a win for China, as no US president in the past has ever acknowledged China's G2 status. The Group of Two, or the G2, originated in the late 2000s as an idea for the US and China to jointly steer global governance. Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.